Last week, we got a bit more done to show a bunch of GitHub actions to make testing easier. We talked about the changes in SQL. Talked about shipping 1.5, which we will do tomorrow and Thursday. Oh, translations first. Translations fixed by 1, and we saw a bunch of issues and PRs today. Then do we have demos? We have topics. Okay, status. One, we merge something. Well, we approve something, and then parameter validation for change expired password action values. And there is a new branch, but we don't this one for now. Should go this one here. Begin for the definition date. This typo UserFields. True. Typo optional. Okay. SQLite options documentation fix. Okay, we find update again the same. Dual fix sample task activity in documentation. Fix taxonomies create button. Null reps. Like prevent AutoroutePartIndex from throwing exception when definition is found. Again, if you don't have the part or the tag definition, then it won't. Or fix create button size. Fixed field wrappers. Yeah, so that's a big PR. So now every field has a class name that is better, that is unique. Because if you have two fields of the same type, now you can have custom classes for that based on the name and not the field name. So yeah. Because cross parts you could have the same remove hard-coded HTML ID. Okay, and so you remove the ID, and I think there is a class instead. The class was already there. No, this is a class now, because there can be multiple of them if you reuse the shape. Adding what? Are you a contributor? Actually. Code and the code. Okay. Deprecate ILuceneSearchQueryService in OrchardSearch.Lucene. Okay. Not because we have a namespace, so maybe it wasn't necessary. And this is ready for Lucene and nothing else. Okay. Elasticsearch regression, add Lucene deployment, then migration. Got some documentation for 150. That's good. That's weird.
It's a service that can. The reason is that if someone provides a false app setting, or if Elasticsearch service is not responding, then the service will not start, and then it causes the issues with the deployment plans there, because they're dependent on their services.
That's why we have a require feature.
Yeah, but here we have a reset index and rebuild index deployment plans, which are dependent on the Elasticsearch services.
Okay, but here we're just checking that the service definition has a specific type. That's exactly what the dependency is for. So who is?
No, it checks if there's one registered in those services.
Exactly. That's what this thing is for. What is registering Elasticsearch provider?
It's the same startup, but in a different class. It's in the startup class, which is the default one.
Then it's from a feature, even if it's a default one, and then this is a required feature.
Yeah, it's.
So if you say require, it will only run that.
Yeah.
If this service is registered by this other thing. So try to find another piece of code in Orchard that does that. You won't find one.
The Redis one.
then there is a wrong one.
Yeah.
So this is just required feature. Otherwise, you would do that all the time. Like, oh, let's only register that if this one is already registered.
Wait. If we register the startup here of this module, it doesn't mean that it's going to create an Elasticsearch provider because we test if we can reach the server first. If we can't reach the server, then we don't enable the services. This is why it's not related to the required features.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a weird pattern.
Yeah.
So
this is why we do a second check there. Because maybe the startup won't register an Elasticsearch provider. It's conditional on the fact.
If you have it in a different startup and then have require feature, why doesn't it set it up? Or
what Jasmine did is that it only does add transient Elasticsearch provider if a previous test checking the services there succeeded, which is weird. You don't register a service if you can connect to something. That's the issue. That's not something that we do. We don't check like, can I connect to Elasticsearch before I register a service? No, it's the service itself that should check that it can connect to Elasticsearch and then do nothing. And maybe this one and this one. That's why we have like ensure whatever in some thing. That's weird, but I'm not saying it's not logical, but that then we need to have a new assumption now that, oh, maybe it's registered and maybe it's not registered. So it's not even a required feature. It's like required feature and required services working, and that's weird.
So Elasticsearch provider will not get registered if the configuration is wrong or it can't connect to the database?
Right. Yes, exactly.
Well, I mean, in that case, you probably want to just throw an exception or an error message, not exception, error message saying that it can't connect, fix your settings.
Again, everything, yeah.
I mean, it's like, what if the app itself can't connect to our database? Do we just not register anything? We give them an error saying, hey, we can't connect this database, so fix it.
Here, yeah, that's the issue. Yes, sure, there is a log error, but yeah.
Yes, I think same thing we're doing with the Azure Media and the Azure what is that? The app.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sure. If we can't connect, we basically just throw an error.
So you test on startup. Why not just test also every 10 minutes to see if it's still there? Because if it's not there anymore, it's the same thing as on startup. So I don't see why there would be a check like this on startup and not just somewhere else. So you always register services, and maybe there is some health check somewhere that pings the Elasticsearch or Azure or
yeah, there's
whatever.
a whole suite of tests there that could be implemented, and I wanted to have something quite simple for starting, but yeah, you're right. At the same time, throwing or logging.
You can log, but still register services, so you don't have to come with new patterns like this.
Yeah, probably we'll need to figure out something with the Redis service too, because we do the same thing.
Sure. Or do the same as Redis today, which is register the service, sees, don't care about the service is working. It should be cared of in a different thing, like don't do that. Do try catch with it works, it doesn't work. Or do something like that when the tenant is starting and prevent the tenant from starting if you want, or prevent the things there inside from doing anything if the last ping didn't work. Like ensure Elasticsearch ready and this thing is updated every 10 minutes, for instance, in the background task or whatever. But it's not concerned here. Like
yeah, it's throwing exceptions if the service is not working. So I don't have anything to do there. It's already doing that. It's just a second check. So yeah,
So
maybe
that's
removing
removed.
that. Yeah, I will remove
You can
that.
remove that, and then you don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe Jean-Charles will have better ideas, but maybe it's just a health check. Like maybe we need to integrate something in the health check so that.
Yeah, it's just the health check module that we need.
Exactly, and then
Yeah.
a feature in depending on that and this one that will just add Elasticsearch as a health check, and then great.
Yeah, agree.
And why do you have to call dot abstraction and not do a using instead everywhere?
Because it's the same name. The ILuceneSearchQueryService is like a duplicate interface in the module itself, where we implement an OrchardCore.Lucene, and we have also the abstraction. So this is like two interfaces in the same namespace.
But because you renamed it.
No, it's the same name.
Why do we have to with the same name?
Because the ILuceneSearchQueryService was inside the OrchardCore.Search.Lucene module, which is the implementation. And it's not there. It's not there that it goes. It should be in the abstraction project. So I just moved it in the abstraction project, but there we don't use the namespace is not OrchardCore.Search.Lucene.abstraction. It's also OrchardCore.Search.Lucene.
Yeah,
So we have, yeah, it's the same namespace.
Are you trying to fix an issue where if someone has the old package installed and then install a new package? Is that what? So if they're both old and new installed in the same project?
Here, in the abstraction, it's an error that I made. I kept it as iSearchQueryService. It should have been named ILuceneSearchQueryService. It was not used before, so I renamed it just like the interface that was in the OrchardCore.Search.Lucene module. So the real name should be ILuceneSearchQueryService. It was my fault that I named it iSearchQueryService. And it should be named ILuceneSearchQueryService because it's a different interface from the Elasticsearch abstraction and the Lucene abstraction. Else I would have only one interface for both, which is something that we don't want.
Well, we had a problem, now we have a problem. So like I didn't understand anything. Search Lucene abstraction, ILuceneSearchQueryService. Before it was called iSearchQueryService, now it's called
No, it was not.
What?
It's my fault here. This interface, which is called iSearchQueryService, is just me that copied over the interface that was.
Yeah, before the migration was copied, but it's no longer used, so it doesn't even get registered.
Yeah, it's not even used. The iSearchQueryService was not used at all, and it should have been named ILuceneSearchQueryService.
It wasn't used after the migration. It was used
after the migration. I was not using it. I kept the one that was in the search, the OrchardCore.Search.Lucene module, because we wanted to keep what was in there.
So we still have two ILuceneSearchQueryService.
Now we have two ILuceneSearchQueryService, and the one that is in the OrchardCore.Search.Lucene module is deprecated. This is what I'm doing here. If you go into
OrchardCore.Search.Lucene, this is
this one is deprecated.
Okay. This one is a new module in 1.5.
Yeah, because we renamed to OrchardCore.Search.Lucene, but it's still the old module, which was OrchardCore.Lucene.
Why is it being deprecated if it's used by nobody? Why don't
this one was used?
No, because it's a new package. So you say it was used, but the thing that was used has been renamed to OrchardCore.Search.Lucene in a different namespace also, OrchardCore.Search.Lucene. So
I agree with that. Yeah.
Nobody is using it. So there is nobody that cares about it being obsolete because it's a completely new thing. What's happening is that the old one is removed completely. It's not even obsolete, the old one. There is a new one, and this one is obsolete. So I think either the old one is marked as obsolete, and is there
but
somewhere.
Maybe it's better for people that would just change the namespace there. And they will see here.
You tell them, hey, you are broken. Oh, try to change the namespace, and you will see you are still broken. So now use the new one and the new service. So what's the point? Hey guys, you are broken. Let's use a new one. And we don't have to show them that, hey, by the way, you could also get into an obsolete state, which is the halfway to the solution, which is use the new one. So this thing doesn't make any sense. You can just remove it.
Yeah, but at the same time, yeah, probably we should have just kept it like that. I don't know.
Probably we should not have renamed the project. Talked about it, but it was decided to rename the project. So let's rename the project, and it's spreading everyone that was using the interface. Now you tell them to use a new one. There is no reason to obsolete a new thing. This one is new. Let's not obsolete it. Let's not just chip it.
Then let's just remove it.
Yeah, I would say remove it, because see what happens when you install it, when you upgrade, you're going to have to uninstall the previous one and install a new one. You can't use both at the same time. So if you're using OrchardCore.Search or .Lucene before, you would have to remove it. If they both exist at the same time, you're going to have all kind of problems. So I would say remove it. And if someone is trying to migrate, then they can't resolve that interface, and they're gonna look at the notes and say, okay, I'm just gonna use the ILuceneSearchQueryService instead of the old one.
Yeah, they will guess it, and with the obsolete there, maybe they will have, and then this, but yeah, I will remove it.
Yeah, I think part of the documentation for migration, you should instruct them to remove the old project. You can't keep it and install this one, because if you do, you're going to have all kind of weird issues. I tried it.
Sebastian, you are muted.
I was like, no, I'm not saying anything, but yeah, I was still muted. I said something before, sorry. So Okay, so yeah. So now the text is in red. Okay, I understand that the message here should be in red. Sure.
Yeah, there should be styles in the admin.
And then the label also.
Yeah, there's probably one missing there. It's the input. Every component there gets style applied when you use the ASP for validation or something like that. You have field validation error. You have also input validation error and as validation error. Yeah.
Good. The changing questions, man.
I have a strange issue. I'm wondering if this is a good time or to talk about it. I can't even make sense out of it. So I have OrchardCore running inside of a mobile app. Okay, it's a wrapper around. It's a mobile app that you can download, but it's nothing but a wrapper that renders the website.
Okay, okay.
For some
Renders the
reason,
website. It's not running Orchard. I was like, what?
no, it's running the website,
Okay.
Orchard website, in the wrapper. So it's a mobile app. Okay. Weird issue on when you install that mobile app on iPhone only, and you try to access the admin theme. For some reason, the data theme tag attribute get changed from default to light. That value light is coming from somewhere that I can't explain. In OrchardCore, I tried to do a research, and there's nothing that uses the keyword light. Is that something we previously used that I'm not aware of? Because in the in the admin theme, we target two themes: default and then dark theme. You know, a quick fix was to change the default to not dark mode. So basically, either dark mode or anything else, we render the default theme. But I just don't know if there's.
So the text light appeared.
Yeah, so the keyword default, the value of the theme name, it changes to light. So I don't know if it's something that the iPhone does, which sounds weird for them to do something like that, because they do have a light and dark theme in their app. But to actually apply that to our website, very strange. So it'd have to be done through JavaScript.
This. No code mirror. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. Why? People will listen to the meeting and bye. Other questions? 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. This one, because we think it's a correct behavior or we don't know how to fix it yet, we won't block on that. And we'll start shipping 1.5, which means we need to release translations. That's always the first step. And what? So we haven't merged the translation since then. Antoine, when was the last time you updated the strings?
Built it last week, I guess, but I did not update the EOT files yet.
Okay, so you need to do that so we can create the new. Then steps usually translation, start the release notes, publish the translations on MyGet, test the translations, then publish them on NuGet, then update main repository with the new translations on NuGet. And then ship 1 file actually on NuGet. That's the plan, which means we should be able to merge some simple PRs for Thursday still, because this is probably when we ship the translations. Visual activity on the issues, this should be done. It's available today, ILucene was shipped today, okay. This might be interesting though. Not working. Oh yeah, I mentioned on the comments we should just need to pass null for now. We can, I think it's safe to just not support schemas for now, just pass null as the schema. So it will work as today, and then in the next version of Orchard, implement the support for schemas. Multi-tenancy, that will be better, support for multi-tenancy, my opinion. Good, okay. Questions? Let's meet again on Thursday or next Tuesday. Thanks, everyone.